Our next speaker hails from the Pioneer Valley. He works doing computer science teaching and working in other activities at the New England Adolescent Research Institute in the Pioneer Valley. He works with these children who have some special needs, their special education requirements, and he'll tell you a little bit about that. He was born in New England. He has lived in Texas and Oklahoma and Virginia and Vermont, and he eventually moved back to his mother's ancestral land in the Pioneer Valley. He graduated from Northampton High School. In those days, he was active in the Civil Air Patrol and the Boy Scouts and various other programs. He graduated from the University of Massachusetts at Amherst in 2002. And now he's a candidate, a Republican candidate, challenging Stan Rosenberg in the Hampshire and Franklin district. Folks, please give a warm welcome to Keith McCormic.
I agreed to speak here today because we are on the verge of a crisis. Not a crisis of economic proportions, not a security crisis, not even a crisis of justice. No, we are approaching a crisis of humanity. Our government says that it needs more money to care for the poor and the sick. Our government says that it needs more money to educate the young and to protect the elderly. Our government says that it needs more money to fix the roads and to rebuild our crumbling economy. Money. To our leaders, it always comes down to money. Well, people don't work in soup kitchens for the money. They don't teach in violence-ridden urban schools for the money. No one dies defending his fellow man for the money. People make those sacrifices out of a deep sense of our shared humanity. The worldwide movement towards human dignity began here, in this room. How shameful it is then that so many in Massachusetts live in abject poverty, rotting to death in icy tenements, utterly ignorant of the promise of our great land. The demagogues cry out that the government needs more money to help them. I disagree. The government needs more humanity. Money cannot buy love. Money cannot buy character or dedication or compassion. No amount of money can pay an indifferent man to care. I know this because I am an educator. I work with troubled, disadvantaged youth in Holyoke, the poorest city in our state. I am one of those teachers that the pro-tax lawmakers are threatening to punish if question 1 passes. But I'm here today because those pro-tax radicals are threatening to punish my students when question 1 passes. I have seen the faces of those children. I have seen the scars of misguided public assistance in their eyes, etched into their souls. The government did that to them. Your government did that with your money. We cannot buy compassion, and those children have suffered the rough hands of far too many government mercenaries. So am I saying that money is useless? Of course not. It's government money that is dangerous, money without humanity. $10 in the hands of a dedicated caregiver will buy more nutritious food than $50 of government spending. I have seen this. I walk the blood-stained streets of the poorest city in Massachusetts, my boots crunching on broken glass and shattered dreams, and I see the difference that people can make, people like you. I see young families choosing to build new homes in crime-ridden neighborhoods, placing themselves in danger, hoping that the world could get just a little better by their example. I see spiritual men and secular men working together to give forgotten youth a safe place with warm food and warmer hearts, if only for a few hours. And I see accomplished professionals beggaring themselves to give hope to former gang members and victims of sexual abuse and domestic violence. And then I see Beacon Hill wasting $22 billion on 7 miles of highway. 7 miles. Even using Beacon Hill math, that's 100 brand new comprehensive high schools, 1,000 neighborhood elementary schools. In the hands of private charities, that's easily 2,000 schools instead of 7 miles of highway. So who really needs that money? The Beacon Hill regime or you? Our elected officials are so deeply addicted that they've begun to harm the very people they're supposed to be helping. They're threatening to punish my students if question 1 passes. They're already punishing my students. They're like an abusive drunk who's begun to terrorize their own family. And the only way to make things better is to take his bottle, get him sober. We need to separate Beacon Hill from their addiction. We must pass question 1. The radicals tell us that passing question 1 will bring doom and gloom. They tell us that it is irresponsible for the people to make such a point in such a way. Well, those same kind of busybodies said the same thing about the Declaration of Independence. I think it's telling that the Founding Fathers did not end the Declaration with, if we can find enough money, or if it's not too difficult or frightening. No, they chose to make an oath, one of the most profound and important statements in the history of mankind. We mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Their lives, their livelihoods, their reputations, they promised everything they had in the world, everything in themselves, everything. The Founding Fathers promised to one another their humanity. This then is the message and promise of question 1. Humanity, family, community. People create these things. People sustain them, not by paying others to do the dirty work, but through personal sacrifice, commitment, and caring. Question 1 returns both means and meaning to the difficult, ordinary work of sustaining our extraordinary civilization. The radicals who support the income tax instead offer nothing but fear and callous disregard for these most important things in life. To those demagogues, money and power have become an end, the end, instead of a means to do good work. Their abuses and usurpations can no longer be tolerated. The most vulnerable amongst us cry out for help, for love, for justice from an uncaring political machine gorging itself on your tax dollars. Those who oppose question 1 support this. They support the continued torment of men, women, and little children at the hands of an inhuman bureaucracy carved in cold, unfeeling stone. So if you have any decency, any warmth in your heart, any shred of human kindness left in your soul, vote yes on question 1. Please, yes.